Hey YouTube, Dave here, and thank you for tuning in. I just had a pretty strong Kundalini experience, and I just wanted to uh, offload it a bit, I guess, just sort of help me process. So thank you for watching. What I'm going to talk about today is Kundalini and your dreams, and emotional kriyas or emotional releases that you get during your process. And excuse me because I might be coughing a lot during this video. As a part of what just happened. So, like that. So, when you have and are in the Kundalini awakening process, you get a lot of strong dream guidance. And it becomes a little bit more magnified. We all kind of get guidance through our dreams at some point, but when you're in the Kundalini process, it definitely gets magnified, more intense. The messages get more specific. For the last little while, I've been having very, very powerful musical dreams where in my dreams, the music will just be like an extra Dolby stereo. The sound is just like booming everywhere, and it permeates my entire being. And some of the songs, sometimes I do know, and some of the songs, sometimes are just songs I've never heard before. And I've been having these repetitive dreams over and over for maybe the last month and a half. Because it's a repetitive thing and it happens again, I keep thinking, okay, there's got to be a message here. There's something that it's the Kundalini is trying to tell me, or my higher guidance is trying to tell me. So I started thinking, oh, maybe I should play guitar again or do something along the lines of music, but I don't know what it is. And so I had a slight realization today, and it's sort of an evolution of the practice that I've been doing. And thus far, a lot of my Kundalini practice has been sort of related to Tantra and doing tantric practices, taking the body to very high states of bliss and then sort of holding that for long periods of time, and that helps get the energy stimulated and moving. And I was just in a daydream during my meditation and had a memory or an image, excuse me, click of when I would listen to certain songs. And when I would listen to those songs, sometimes you get, sometimes you listen to a really good song and you get the goosebumps or chills or something like that, some kind of energetic or physical, visceral response when you hear the song or the music. And so I remember hearing that, and that song, that energetic or physical sensation felt almost identical to the energetic sensations that I was getting during my Tantra practice. And so when I was doing my meditation, I thought, okay, maybe at the end of the meditation, I'll just put on a couple of songs that that really triggers that feeling and see what happens. And that was the message that I was getting through my dreams. And so what happened, excuse me, was that I put on a couple of songs. One of them was Metallica song, Halo on Fire, and another one was a Disturbed song. I can't remember the name at the moment. It's the remake of the Simon and Garfunkel song. Anyways, I just put them on, let myself go into my meditation, and all of a sudden those energetic movements, the movement of the energy started to increase and increase, and I was just laying there watching it happen, and it became many times more magnified than it did during my Tantra practice. And it just started going beyond my control, just beyond my control. And so what happened was I started listening to the music, and I started getting these waves of it feels like sometimes when you sit on your leg too long and your foot goes numb and you get that like tingling, burning sensation. It was kind of like that, a little more intense and even stronger sensation, but it was a lot more pleasurable and a lot more cooling. Well, instead of burning, it was more cooling and chilling. I got these huge waves that started to go up my back, like my entire back, not just my spine. And then all of a sudden it started, the waves started, down my entire legs as well, all the way down to my feet. And then it started to spread out to my arms. And every time it happened, I'd get this wave that would go through my entire body, and then it would pause a second, and then another wave would come, and my whole body felt like it was just vibrating, tingling in just one constant state of goosebumps everywhere, every single cell in my entire body, except maybe the top of my head. It was a little less intense there. And I played one song and that happened, and I was like, holy crap, this is just amazing. This feels absolutely incredible. And so I started playing the next song, which was the Halo on Fire by Metallica, and then it started to intensify even more. And instead of being in waves where it would come and it would go, it was just one solid, constant, head to toe vibration, goosebump, pleasurable sensation. And it just held there. And when it held there, then some interesting stuff started to happen. I started to feel my abdominals start to contract as I was laying on my back. My abdominals started doing this thing and pulling me into a little abdominal contraction. But my upper body wasn't really crunching. It was just my abs doing this over and over again, and it was involuntary. And then all of a sudden, whatever that abdominal motion was doing, it was causing something to push up. And what was pushing up was just like this ball of emotion that I could feel moving up. And then when it moved into my head, all of a sudden it just started bawling my eyes out. And it was half grief, half bliss. It was like a mixture of both. It wasn't just one or the other. There was definite sadness there, but there was also some ecstasy there. And it was this weird combination of both. And my abs kept contracting and pushing this energy up, and it would come to my head, and then I just continued to bawl my eyes out for about a minute and a half, and then finally the song ended, and then the energetic, buzzing, tingling sensation that was all over my body dissipated, and then I just kind of laid there and processed and felt, and I was like, oh man, I gotta try this again, see what happens. So one more time I played the same song, the Halo on Fire by Metallica, and then it wasn't quite as intense the second time, but the exact same thing happened throughout the song. I could feel the waves of chills going up my back and down my legs and down my arms, and it came to a spot in waves, and as the song progressed, it got to the point where all that energy just held, and I could feel it constantly everywhere. And the same thing happened again. I got those contractions in the abdominals and started to push something up. And when it came up to my head again, I started crying one more time, started bawling my eyes out, but it was not quite as intense as the first time. The energy wasn't quite as strong, and then that was enough. I listened to the song and I figured I better not overdo it, and let's just see what happens afterwards. And ever since then, and this only happened maybe half an hour ago, I'm making this video pretty quickly after, just to keep the feelings fresh and alive. And then I just started coughing uncontrollably. Something else was just trying to come up, and I just kept coughing and coughing, and that's why you'll hear me clearing my throat during this video. There's still more coming up, but it's just in a different way. It's not in crying, it's just coughing. My body wants to push something out. And so that was what just happened, and it was pretty amazing. But there's a couple key here, I guess. It's just the dream guidance. Like I said at the beginning, I've been having these dreams over and over again for the last month, where the music was just so strong and intense. And I wasn't really interpreting the message right, but the message eventually did come and get through, is that the stimulation of the kundalini energy through the music And in this particular instance, was way more powerful than the tantric practice that I had been doing. So I'm just going to switch and move forward and see if I can use the music moving forward to elicit the kundalini energy and the emotional responses that may or may not come with the practice. There's no guarantees that it does. It did this time, but who knows about next time. And then the other thing was just the emotional release and the kriyas. Up until this point in my kundalini, I've not, maybe in the beginning I had some emotional, actually quite a bit of an emotional release, but it was not related to any energy surges that I felt. And this one, there was definite cause and effect. The energy built up in my body and held to a point where I could feel it everywhere. And when that energy was holding a certain space for me in vibration, that allowed the emotion to come up and come out. And there was some physical, so kriyas is the word for it, is uncontrollable movements, either physical movements or emotional releases that happen as a response to kundalini. And now I've read about these a lot and I've heard people talk about them, but this was my first real visceral experience with it. And I can say right now, maybe about 30 minutes after the experience, I feel absolutely incredible. Now I'm buzzing on a little bit of a high from the experience, but just the release of whatever had to come out. And I have no idea what it was related to. I have no idea. There's been no like images in my mind of childhood issues or bad things in the past that happened. It was just something that was there and it came out. Maybe the why will come later, but who knows? Yeah, so that's it. I just wanted to get that off my chest with an experience that I've had, and it's going to shift my practice, but got to pay a lot of attention to the dream messages because it can be a prime source of communication between you and your higher guidance in your kundalini process. So thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope this was informative and helps someone if they're on that journey as well. And thank you for watching, and take care.